Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to East Texas Today on KETK Plus. I'm your host, Tristan Van Beem. Thank you all so much for joining me on our morning show on this lovely Tuesday morning. I appreciate every single one of y'all who comes in consistently and watches the show. And for our new people here, thank you so much for downloading the KTK Plus app and watching our content. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into our first story of the morning as cases of influenza A and COVID-19 are on the rise in Texas. The Texas Health and Human Services is reporting 5,124 influenza hospitalizations so far this month. These numbers have gone up by 2,000 since November 15th. Longview healthcare specialist and pharmacist said the majority of the cases they see are people coming in with our COVID-19 and influenza. KETK's Ella Mitchell spoke with experts to learn more about the rise in this illness. Let's go ahead and bring that right up.
Along with the holidays this time of year, something else is lurking in the background that could ruin your festive gatherings. COVID, cold, and flu are spreading. ER doctors and pharmacists say the main cases they see people coming in with right now are COVID and influenza A.
The earlier you come in, the better.
Pharmacist at Lewis Morgan in Longview says the medicine aisle can be as busy as the toy aisle this time of year. The Texas Health and Human Services is reporting 5,124 flu hospitalizations so far this month.
We're seeing an increase and uptick in it in the last several weeks. Our numbers have increased with both flu and COVID.
Finding the right medicine can be a confusing task. Sean Sams, pharmacist at Lewis Morgan, says if you have a wet cough,
this particular product is Mucinex DM, so it's going to help break up the chest congestion, and it's also going to suppress the cough. So the idea is you'll cough less often, but when you do, hopefully it's more productive and you can get that mucus out of your chest.
And if you have watery eyes and a runny nose.
So your antihistamine products are going to be things like Zysol, Claritin, Zyrtec. Everybody knows Benadryl. That's been around forever. The Allegra is one that I prefer a lot because it lasts for 24 hours and doesn't cause a lot of drowsiness.
But wellness starts before symptoms surface.
Goes back to the old common, good hand washing, wipe down everything at your house, cover your mouth when you cough. Those are the things that we recommend to help prevent at home. Because it spreads really quick.
And with holiday gatherings in full swing, you may be tempted to power through the symptoms to not miss out on the fun. But Lawrence says you could regret letting your sickness linger longer. Ella Mitchell, KTK News.
Well, thank you so much, Ella, for your reporting on that story. Now, I know it's typical for a lot more people to get sick around this time of year as, you know, the colder temperatures are outside. We're doing a lot of traveling, going to see family, so you're getting exposed to a lot more environments. So, so right there you just heard about a bunch of, medicines that you can take to help prevent the sickness or help heal your sickness if you do pick that up, but just be mindful of the different illnesses that are popular around this time of year. And now multiple East Texas school districts have had to actually cancel classes due to health concerns, and one district even had to close for one day because of a gas odor. Now let's go ahead and just bring this image up real quick. Classes were canceled on Monday for Sabine ISD elementary students after reports of an unknown gas odor. Emergency personnel were called to the elementary campus to investigate the odor, but did not detect any gas. Out of an abundance of caution, officials evacuated the campus and transported students to the high school auditorium for parent pickup. Sabine ISD officials said, quote, "As always, the safety of our students and staff is our first priority. All students and staff are safe. We appreciate your understanding and patience as we worked through the navigation of an evolving situation," end quote. And then over at Excelsior ISD, the district announced its campus was closed on Monday due to an ongoing illness impacting students and staff. The district said the decision was made to protect the health and well-being of the school community while ensuring students are safe during the upcoming holiday break. All activities and events were also canceled. Excelsior ISD said, quote, "The decision was made with the safety of our students, staff, and families as our top priority. We appreciate your understanding and cooperation as we take this precautionary step, end quote. And then also over at Cushing ISD, the district canceled classes across all campuses on Tuesday and Wednesday to protect the health of students and staff. Due to a significant number of illnesses, the district dismissed students early on Monday and canceled classes for the following 2 days, allowing Christmas break to begin early. Classes are scheduled to resume as normal on January 6, 2026. And the holiday season is in full swing across East Texas communities as local businesses and organizations host a variety of festivities through December. From Christmas light shows to holiday-themed craft nights, there are holiday events for everyone. Now, over in Athens, from December 19th to December 20th, Stage Notes Academy of Performing Arts invites families to a festive evening of pictures with Santa and a special story time with Mrs. Claus before a performance of a Charlie Brown Christmas starting at 7 p.m. On December 20th, Athens VFW is hosting a Christmas party with free food, music, and games starting at 3 p.m. Then on December 21st, Painting with Pints is hosting a Christmas-themed painting session at 5 p.m. with drinks and snacks as well. And then on December 24th, Athens First Methodist Church's Candlelight Christmas Eve service is a candlelit celebration of scripture and carols. Then on December 24th, 316 Church is hosting a Christmas Eve service, inviting families and friends to an evening of worship and celebration starting at 6 p.m. Then we head over to Jacksonville on December 17th, where the Jacksonville Community Arts Alliance is hosting a Christmas art show and sale of diverse collection of paintings, pottery, and more. Then on December 18th in Jacksonville, you can enjoy cookies, cocoa, and great company at the Jacksonville Chamber's Open House from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And on December 20th, you can celebrate Christmas at Las Posadas, complete with a live nativity scene and candlelit procession at 8:40 p.m. On December 24th, Trail to Christ Cowboy Church is hosting a Christmas Eve candlelit service at 7 p.m. in Kilgore. And then on December 16th, the Kilgore Public Library is hosting a holiday craft night for ages 18 plus starting at 4 p.m. And on December 18th, show off your singing skills and ugly sweater at Zen Kitchen's family-friendly Christmas karaoke event. And on December 18th, you can wear your festive pajamas and enjoy a storytime reading of the Polar Express with special guest reader Dean Kinney at the Kilgore Public Library. And then we're going to go ahead and move on over to Lindale, where on December 18th, you can snap a holiday photo with the Grinch from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then on December 19th, you can meet Santa at the Lindale Candy Company's Photo with Santa event from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in Longview. Then on December 17th, the 24th Annual Longview Special Needs Christmas Festival includes high rides through the Christmas light show, food, music, and more. And on December 19th, you can enjoy a night of Christmas tradition, joy, and Christmas spirit in the heart of Longview at La Gran Posada Nevada. Then on December 20th, you can visit with Santa and shop for last-minute gifts, Christmas gifts, and Hardison's Marketplace from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Then on December 20th, the Platform Longview is hosting a mistletoe and margs market at 10 a.m., and you can shop from dozens of East Texas vendors as you sip on festive margaritas. Then moving on to the Lufkin area, on December 18th, Lufkin High School Choir is showcasing the sounds of the season as its winter concert at 6:30 p.m. Then on December 19th, you can celebrate Christmas with the whole family at Holidays on the Lot for fun photos, food, and more. December 20th has Shop for Last-Minute Gifts at the VFW Freedom Artisans Farmers Market from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Nacogdoches. Then, on December 18th to 21st, enjoy the performance of the Best Christmas Pageant Ever by Lamplight Theater throughout the weekend. On December 19th, You can bring your family to downtown Nacogdoches for a showing of the Polar Express with free hot chocolate and popcorn starting at 6:30 p.m. And on December 20th, the Nacogdoches Farmers Market is hosting a holiday Christmas market with vendors for last-minute Christmas shopping from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And on December 21st, you can join the Periot Methodist Church for an evening of candlelit community and carols at 5:30 p.m. And then we move on to our Tyler area as December 15th to December 23rd and December 26th to December 30th, Tyler Parks and Rec is hosting holiday lights in the garden from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Visitors can stroll through the Tyler Rose Garden, illuminated by twinkling lights and festive displays. And then on December 17th, Lane's Chapel Methodist Church is hosting a Breakfast in Bethlehem event for the whole family with interactive booths and breakfast for dinner starting at 6 p.m. December 18th through December 23rd, you can ride Tyler's Christmas Light Rides, our nightly tours through the historic Azalea District, perfect for a night of festive family fun. And on December 20th, Hunger for Love's annual Christmas Under the Bridge event spreads holiday cheer to those in need starting at 5 p.m. And on December 20th, the Rose City Birth Center and Care Clinic is hosting an all-day Christmas extravaganza of festive crafts, food, and drinks, and more. On December 21st, Palettes DIY Cookie Plate Workshop is a family fun event with pictures with Santa starting at 2 p.m. All right, and then if you missed any of those events, you can go ahead and scan this QR code on your screen. That'll take you to our homepage at KETK.com, where you can find that article that also lists off all of those events as well. And as East Texans get ready for the return of cold weather, several locations around East Texas are opening up as warming shelters and centers. KETK News has put together the following list of locations opening to the public. Now, I'm not going to read the entire list right now, but you can scan that QR code that I just showed on the screen, and it'll take you to that article that has a full list of all those shelters as well. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up real quick. Over in Jacksonville, Highway 69 Mission in Jacksonville is opened on Sunday night, as a warming shelter and is serving warm meals for those in need. And then over in Longview, the Salvation Army at 519 East Cotton Street in Longview is opening their doors during the day when the temperature gets below freezing, and they'll have their overnight shelter open with beds and cots if needed. Highway 80 Rescue Mission at 3117 West Marshall Avenue is opening 24-hour operations with beds available to stay the night. And then House of Hope, located at 3011 West Marshall Avenue, is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. as a warming shelter as well. And then over in Livingston, Lifeline Church, located at 203 East Calhoun Street in Livingston, is offering a place to sleep and hot soup and cocoa to anyone in need starting Sunday night. And then over in Tyler, the Salvation Army, located at 633 North Broadway Avenue in Tyler, is opening on Sunday night as an inclement weather area. The Texas Division of Emergency Management has an interactive map of warming centers and shelters that are open across the state for those in need of shelter across the state. And then moving on to our next story, the Cherokee Family Motorcycle Club hosted its 9th annual Jacksonville Toy Run on Sunday. The club's members started their run on Sunday from 7-Eleven in South Jacksonville before parading down to their clubhouse where they collected gifts for local children. Ray Bowman with the Cherokee Family Motorcycle Club said, quote, "It gives us a chance to help our community. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people in need this time of year, and this is our way of giving back. I can't help everybody that needs help, but together we can make a big dent in what needs to happen," end quote. Sunday's event featured a meal, raffles, and the club's end-of-year slow race championship. And to learn more, you can check out the Cherokee Family Motorcycle Club online as well. All right, everyone, it is time to head into our first break of our East Texas Today show on KETK Plus this lovely Tuesday morning. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this part of the show. And then when we come back, we're actually going to talk about Apple Springs ISD, who has named a new interim president. But more on that when we come back from the break. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to East Texas Today on KETK Plus. I'm your host, Tristan Van Beem. Thank you all so much for tuning in this morning. And I always love bringing you these great stories, especially around Christmas time. We've talked about a few Christmas-themed stories that are going on in the East Texas area, but there are plenty more to come throughout the rest of the show. So just stick around if you want to hear more about those. But let's start off this part of the show with a story about a new superintendent. The Apple Springs ISD Board of Trustees has named Kevin Plotz as interim superintendent after announcing that Superintendent Cody Moore will retire at the end of December. Plotz, who is in his 11th year as principal of Apple Springs ISD, brings experience in education and administration. He holds a Bachelor of Business Administration from the University of Houston, Clear Lake, and a master's degree in educational administration from the University of Texas at Tyler. Before joining Apple Springs ISD in 2015, he served as a teacher and assistant principal and campus leader in the Lufkin area. Plotz said, quote, "Apple Springs has an incredible staff and amazing students. My philosophy has always been that my job as a leader is to provide the support and empowerment for those good folks to do what they do best. I look forward to finding new ways to give our staff and students the tools they need to succeed," end quote. Now, School Board President Amanda Roden praised Plotz's long-standing commitment to the district, citing his years of service and leadership. Roden said, quote, "Kevin has been an incredible part of the Apple Springs family for many years. His steady leadership, dedication, and deep understanding of our district makes him the right person to guide us through this important transition. We are grateful for his willingness to step in and bridge the gap as we move towards selecting a permanent superintendent." The board thanked Dr. Moore for his years of service and said it is actively working on a long-term plan to hire a permanent superintendent. That is absolutely amazing. I love talking about those stories and learning more about these superintendents that are overseeing the education of our East Texas children, and just to see all the experience they bring to the table and everything they can bring to our educational system over here in the East Texas area. Now, an associate professor of history at Stephen F. Austin State University has written a book that explores how football influenced religious life at Christian colleges through the 20th century. The book is titled The Gridiron Gospel: Faith and College Football in 20th Century America. The book is authored by Dr. Hunter Hampton and will be published December 23rd by the University of Illinois Press. Let's go ahead and take a look at what this book is all about. Now, there is that cover of the book right there, and just in case you're wondering what it looked like, Hampton argues that many Christian denominations found spiritual and personal meaning in the sport, with fans interpreting games as sources of divine lessons. Victories and defeats were often viewed as expressions of God's will, while football's growing popularity provided a powerful tool for evangelizing non-believers. Hampton said, quote, "The book looks at two distinct features of American culture, Christianity and football. Though recent data shows a decline in religious adherence, Christianity remains a constant influence on our nation and politics. Over the past century, football's power has expanded exponentially. Football and faith contain lessons in sacrifice, community, and morality. They also accept violence, competition, and rebuke as a means to a positive end. This book analyzes how each shaped the other," end quote. The book also examines how football's role in promoting ideals of Christian manhood, male bonding, gender hierarchy, and ritualized on-field violence, framing these events as serving a higher religious purpose. Hampton said, quote again, "I hope that readers gain a greater appreciation and knowledge of the historical developments of both faith and college football. Each chapter looks at different Christian colleges' football program and examines how that religious group handled a crisis point in faith through football. Anyone interested in American religion, football, and especially both will enjoy the book. I also hope it encourages readers to reflect on how these two facts of American culture continue to shape the world around us, end quote. Hampton's book can be purchased directly from the University of Illinois Press website and is available at a 40% off discount through the end of the year. Now, I'm sure that is quite true, a lot of points that he was making. You know, anyone who's watched a lot of football-based movies throughout their times playing football, you do tend to notice a lot of religion that is placed in there. So, and even a lot of NFL players are open about their religion and just, you know, saying sayings like faith, family, and football as well. So no surprise there that a professor was able to find a big correlation between the sport and that religion as well. And to help East Texas students handle the stress of exam week, Grace Community School in Tyler brought in some festive furry friends to spread some holiday cheer. Let's go ahead and take a look at these cute pups that are going around the Grace community. Junior Laura Kate Green said, quote, "A lot of people are stressing to study, and it kind of makes everything fun and not a gloomy week," end quote. On Monday, Grace Community School hosted the 4th annual Christmas Raw Pup 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 event on its upper campus, complete with food trucks and plenty of festively dressed dogs to pet. Sophomore MJ Hansen said, while cradling her Yorkie Mel Mel safely in her arms, she said, quote, "It's really nice because I feel like we're a bit stressed out about finals, so it's nice to just take an hour to just pet people's dogs," end quote. Event organizers also presented the dogs with prizes. The best dressed dog was awarded Cooper the Corgi, who came dressed as the Grinch of Grace. Oh, that is just so cute and precious. However, not even a layer of that infamous lime green Grinch fuzz could conceal the lovable pup underneath. It was Cooper's calming charisma and charm that helped earn him the top prize. Senior Ali Matson said about her corgi just moments before he won the top prize, quote, "You know, he's just kind of a comforter. He'll always snuggle up to you. He's a good greeter and just overall a really good dog," end quote. The school will host another Raw Pup 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 event on Tuesday ahead of the start of their winter break on Friday. Oh, now that is just absolutely amazing. I remember when I was in high school around exam time around this year, and also at the end of spring semester, they would bring in a couple therapy dogs or stress dogs just to help us get through those tough exams, especially the seniors, because that was kind of their last shot to make sure that they got good grades on those exams. So it's great to see Grace Community School stepping up and bringing in those dogs as well. For those students, this can be a very stressful time for those high schoolers looking to further their education or to graduate and move on into the working world. All right, everyone, it is time for another break, but when we come back, we're going to look at some more Christmas stories and see what East Texans are doing throughout the holiday season, but more on that when we come back from the break. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to East Texas today on KETK Plus, and welcome back from the break. I'm your host, Tristan Van Beem. Let's go ahead and jump right into some more of our stories that we have for this edition of the morning show. With Christmas coming up next week, it is the last chance for people to grab their holiday presents. But prices seem to be getting higher and higher, making it more difficult to purchase that perfect gift. Our correspondents have more on the latest holiday prices.
With less than 2 weeks to go until Christmas, many Americans say it's not the Grinch stealing the holiday this year, but high holiday prices. A new AP NORC poll finds most adults feel like they're paying more than ever for gifts, groceries, and everything else. And that's got them feeling green.
It's not just about inflation rates. It's about the price level. And people still say things cost too much.
About half say they are delaying more big purchases than they usually would, and 4 in 10 are pulling more from their savings this year. 2/3 of Americans say the economy is in poor shape. That's unchanged from this time last year. The sour consumer sentiment comes at an inconvenient time for President Trump.
Some voters are putting them on the naughty list, and there's a question of how we can get on the nice one.
Frustrated by the polls and criticism from the left, the president claims the economy is doing better than ever.
Our prices are coming down tremendously from the highest prices in the history of our country.
But experts say the middle class is feeling their wallets get pinched.
As prices have gone up, their wages haven't gone up, so they're going to be on a tighter budget.
The White House says people will start to feel the effects of its economic policy much more next year, but the poll shows only about 2 in 10 people think things will get better. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
I'm sure that a lot of East Texans can relate to that. I know surely I can. I have a couple more gifts to buy for some other people in my family, and I am just dreading it because those prices are pretty high, and I've already spent a pretty good penny getting those Christmas presents as well. So I know a lot of people across the country are going through that as well. But with prices on the rise this holiday season, some people are opting for a cheaper way to shop for gifts by checking out local thrift stores. Purchasing used items can help a lot of people get those great gifts for their loved ones without breaking the bank. Teresa Hope has more on thrift store shopping and how consumers are doing it.
There was definitely a stigma behind gifting something that you purchased at the thrift store or a used item, but that's changing.
From sweaters to refurbished electronics, secondhand doesn't mean second rate. Consumer Reports' Jadira Rodriguez says checking out resale sites, local thrift stores, and certified refurbished tech can help you give thoughtful and thrifty gifts this holiday season.
Buying secondhand can get you something nicer for less money than if you buy it brand new. Plus, it's great for the planet.
Cookware is a great option if you stick to stainless steel, cast iron, and ceramic nonstick coated. Skip the nonstick cookware and anything with scratches, damage to the handles, and other signs of wear.
You also want to make sure that if it's something that plugs into power, plug it in and make sure that it actually turns on.
CR says gifting used electronics is a great way to save money and reduce electronic waste, but it pays to be discerning. Here are some guidelines on which electronics to buy. Smartphones that are no more than 3 generations old, laptops, desktops, monitors, gaming consoles, TVs less than 3 years old, cameras, routers, and audio devices. However, it's best to skip headphones and earbuds, which can be challenging to clean thoroughly.
Consider refurbished devices that are sold at big box stores, which often come with a really generous return policy or a warranty. There's also sites like Back Market that refurbish and verify the products themselves, so you have peace of mind.
This is Teresa Hope.
Well, thank you so much, Teresa, for bringing us all that great information. Now, I know that thrift store shopping has had its up and downs in trends over the past few, honestly, the past decade. You know, it was very popular at one point, and then, you know, a lot of people didn't want to go shop at secondhand stores, but it might be a lot of people's only option this year. I'm actually probably going to check out some thrift stores myself, just so that way I can go and get those rest of those Christmas presents as well. And speaking of cash, several East Texans won a ton of money at a national finals rodeo event, but more on that when we get back from the break. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to East Texas Today on KETK Plus, and welcome back from the break. I'm your host, Tristan Van Beem, and as I mentioned before the break, several East Texans won more than $300,000 at the 2025 Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, which ended in Las Vegas this weekend. Let's go ahead and check out some images from this rodeo. Tie-down roper Kincaid Henry, age 23 of Mount Pleasant, came out of this year's National Finals Rodeo, also known as NFR, with $130,112 in earnings. Henry finished in second place in the third round of the down roping, and first in the fourth round, third in the sixth round, first in the eighth round, and sixth in the 10th round. Steer wrestler Justin Schaefer, age 31 of Hallsville, finished the National Finals Rodeo with total earnings of $86,053. Schaefer placed fifth in the fourth round of the steer wrestling, second in the fifth round, sixth in the sixth round, first in the 9th round and 5th in the 10th round. Team Ropers Lightning Aguilera, 32 of Athens, and Caden Profili, 23 of Jacksonville, ended their 2025 NFR rounds with $120,847 in earnings. Lightning and Caden placed first in team roping for the 1st, 3rd, and 9th rounds of this year's NFR. The team also placed 6th in the 6th round and 4th in the 7th round as well. Tilden Hooper, age 37 of Carthage, participated in bareback riding at the 2025 NFR. Hooper's best score was an 86.5 in the 5th round, and to see all this year's results, you can visit the PRCA online to learn more. Now, I personally don't know a lot about rodeo, but it sounds like these East Texans did a lot of great stuff over that competition weekend, so shout out to them, and I'm glad that you are able to win all that ton of money and that to see that your hard work has paid off in the long run. And speaking of sports, with the Texas high school football season wrapping up this weekend, 3 East Texas teams will be looking to take home a state title in their respective divisions. State championship games kick off on Wednesday and run through Saturday at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. And 12 teams will host the big trophy inside the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go ahead and check out some of our teams that we're going to be seeing from East Texas. Class 2A Division I Championship, the Jaquin Rams will be coming to AT&T Stadium on Wednesday evening in hopes of winning their first title in program history. The Rams have been dominant throughout the postseason, especially on defense, limiting all 5 opponents so far to under 30 points. On the offensive side, the Rams have been hard to stop, averaging 45.8 points per game throughout the playoffs. Now, those of you who don't know much about football, that is a ton of points to have averaging throughout every game, especially in the playoffs. The Rams will be facing the Hamilton Bears, who are also looking to take home their first title in program history as well. Wow, so it's 2 teams that have never won it. That is going to be an absolutely great game to see. Points have been hard to come by for opponents facing Hamilton this postseason, as the defense has held opponents to an average of 11.2 points per game. That is also very impressive as well. Wednesday's game is expected to kick off at 7 p.m., and Jaquin faithful will be in attendance, hoping to witness the Rams win their first championship in school history. Then we have the 4A Division I Championship. On Friday morning, the Kilgore Bulldogs will face the Stephenville Yellow Jackets in hopes of winning their second state title in program history. Throughout the postseason, the Bulldogs have been on one of the most dominant teams in the state on the defensive side, and Kilgore has held all of their opponents to 14 points or fewer, while also shutting out 3 teams so far this postseason. That is absolutely impressive to do in the postseason. The Bulldogs have also been imposing their will on the offensive side, scoring over 30 points in every game this postseason, while averaging 43.2 points per game. This will be the second year in a row that Kilgore has reached the championship game, and they will be looking to win their second title in program history. The Bulldogs last took home that 4A title in 2004. Wow, so just over 20 years later. Meanwhile, the Stephenville Yellow Jackets, who are currently 15-0 this season, will be looking to claim their 6th title in school history and first since 2021. It seems like that team has had a ton of success in their history. The Yellow Jackets' offense has been nearly impossible to stop throughout the playoffs, as they are averaging 45.4 points per game and have scored at least 50 points against 3 of the 5 teams they faced this postseason. The Yellow Jackets' defense has been nearly as dominant, holding all 5 opponents to 21 or fewer points while allowing just 12.4 points per game. The championship game is set to kick off at 11 a.m. this Friday at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, and based on how both teams have performed throughout the playoffs this year, the game has the potential to be an instant classic. And then lastly but not least, we have our 4A Division II Championship. The Carthage Bulldogs will be looking to claim their 11th title in program history when they face off against the West Orange Stark Mustangs on Friday afternoon. This will be the fourth time in the past 5 years that Carthage will compete in the state championship and could be head coach Scott Surratt's 11th title since he took over the program in 2007. That is an absolutely impressive run so far. The Bulldogs are 15-0 this season and have been dominant throughout the playoffs, defeating all opponents by at least 20 points so far. On the offensive side, Bulldogs have been nearly unstoppable this postseason, averaging 54.4 points per game and scoring over 49 in 3 of the games they played during their playoff run. Carthage's defense has also been dominant throughout the year, allowing an average of 14.3 points per game during the regular season and 27.6 points in the postseason. Excuse me, I had a little bit of trouble getting that one out. If Carthage manages to take home its 11th title on Friday, the program will be striking distance of having the most championships in state, just behind the Aledo Bearcats, who currently have 12. During Friday's game, the Mustangs will look to win their first championship since 2016 and their 5th overall. So far this postseason, the Mustangs' defense has allowed fewer than 30 points in every game, averaging just 18.6 points per game throughout their playoff run. The game is set to kick off at 3 p.m. at AT&T Stadium and is expected to be a defensive battle with both sides hungry to add another state title to their trophy collection. Tickets to all 3 games can be purchased on Go Tickets, Ticket Center, or StubHub. Wow, now it is exciting to see those teams battle it out for a state championship. It's also sad to see football season come to an end in high school. I had a great time helping cover those high school games as well. So sad to see it go, but it's going to be great to see 3 East Texas teams compete for a state championship title, especially Jaquin, who has never won the big dance. And then while we're keeping on the topic of sports, Union Grove student athlete Landry Harris showed her perseverance and dedication to her sport by pushing through a potentially season-ending injury. She's played numerous sports throughout the years, but truly found her stride in cross country, even setting a school record her freshman year. But before her season even started this year, she tore her ACL, an injury that can put athletes on the bench for more than 9 months. KETK's Rachel Davis actually met up with Harris to learn more about how she overcame those odds. Let's go ahead and check out Harris's story.
Union Grove sophomore Landry Harris has been a lifelong athlete.
I've kind of done sports my whole life. My family's very, very into sports. All my brothers did sports.
Playing numerous sports throughout the years, but truly finding her stride in cross country.
This is my regional top 10 from this year.
She got the record last year in the mile.
But before this season even started, she tore her ACL, an injury that can put athletes on the bench for more than 9 months.
It's been an emotional journey because running is my big thing. I didn't know if I'd be able to run this season with my team and keep our streaks alive and just be there for my team because that's what I love doing.
But through her recovery process, she found out she could potentially run this year.
I got told by my doctors that if I put in the work at physical therapy this summer, that I would be able to get back to running.
So that's what she did, working every week to get better and better, overcoming her injury.
I was able to just push through all of it and come back to running.
Pushing her team to grow together through a difficult season.
In a strange way, the injury has grown us all because as a coaching staff, we've been able to see our kids rally around one another, and other kids got stronger and maintained that going into the season.
Becoming an inspiration to her teammates and peers.
She was our athlete of the year last year as a freshman. And her competitive nature combined with her work ethic, and then you put that with the natural talent, that's why we're seeing what she's doing.
Through determination, Landry and her team made it all the way to the state cross-country meet.
It was very congratulating, and I felt like my efforts and everything that I went through paid off finally. So,
making this season and the pain behind it worth the race to the end. Rachel Davis, Fox 51 News.
Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for your coverage of that story. It is absolutely inspiring to see someone battle through an injury like that and be able to come back stronger. Now, it is time to go ahead and head to another break, but when we come back, it is going to be Travel Tuesday time for you all. And we're actually going to take a look at the Rob Reiner investigation after he passed away just a couple of days ago. So more on that when we come back from the break. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back from the break, and thank you so much for watching East Texas Today on KETK Plus. And as some of you may have heard, film director Rob Reiner passed away on Sunday, and authorities have arrested Nick Reiner without bail following his death. KTLA has more on the investigation.
Hi there. The LA police chief announcing the arrest of the Reiner's adult son, Nick. Behind me, the Brentwood home where authorities say the legendary Hollywood director and his wife were found tragically killed. Police confirming 78-year-old Rob Reiner and his wife, 68-year-old Michelle Reiner, were found dead Sunday, both suffering stab wounds and pronounced dead at the scene. Now their 32-year-old son, Nick Reiner, the man behind bars, suspected of their murder. Police haven't said anything in the way of a motive. What's known about Nick is in interviews he spoke publicly in years past about struggles with drug addiction and even homelessness. The LAPD chief revealing more about the investigation.
We have our robbery homicide division handling the investigation. They worked throughout the night on this case and were able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case. He was subsequently booked for murder.
Rob Reiner was one of the most successful directors in Hollywood, behind such hit films as When Harry Met Sally, A Few Good Men, and Stand By Me. On Sunday, authorities were called to his home on the 200 block of South Chadbourn Avenue around 3:40 in the afternoon, where they revealed he and his wife were found deceased. In a statement to the LA Times Sunday, a family spokesperson saying they are, quote, heartbroken by the sudden loss and asking for privacy during this incredibly difficult time. Some neighbors in the upscale area of LA reacting.
I heard helicopters, and I also heard the helicopters over OJ, which wasn't far from here, and was curious and looked at the TV and found the story about Reiner. I guess both Reiners.
Awful. It is.
Nick Reiner was arrested late Sunday night. He was being held on $4 million bail. Inmate records now showing he is being held without bail. That's the latest. I'll send it back to you.
Well, I'm sure as that investigation goes on and they find out more information, we'll be able to report on more information and give that to you all as soon as possible. And it is that time of the week, and it is that time of the show. I have another Travel Tuesday for you all this morning, and the topic for this week is tire pressure and how to keep up with tire maintenance during the cold winter months. I sat down with Daniel Armbruster from AAA Texas to review how you can keep your tires nice and healthy this holiday season. Let's go ahead and check that out. Hello, everyone. Welcome to KETK Plus. I'm your host, Tristan Van Beem. Thank you all so much for joining me today. And I have another edition of Travel Tuesday with our friend over at AAA, Daniel Armbruster. Again, Daniel, how are you doing today?
Hey, Tristan, doing great. Great to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Now, as you know, holiday season is just coming right here around the corner. And I just wanted to ask, with the cold temperatures setting in, why is it so important for drivers to pay attention to their tires when we're having this cold weather?
Yeah, this is that time of year where we get a lot of flat tire calls here at AAA. And cold weather, it causes tire air pressure to drop about 1 psi for every 10-degree decrease outside Fahrenheit. So that can lead to underinflated tires, which can be dangerous. It can cause reduced traction, especially on slick roadways. It can cause you to have less control over your vehicle. So proper tire care, it's just essential for safe driving in the winter, especially, these next few months. It's going to be cold, likely, and we could even, see we once or twice a year see some winter precipitations. So it's just good to that have good tires.
All right, now we've actually talked to some other people about tire pressure and how it works in the cold temperature. It's basically just a lot of people kind of panic and go fill it up, and then those tires, whenever it warms up, end up getting overinflated, which is probably what's leading to those flat tires or even some of them popping as well. And we're hearing that AAA expects lots of travelers and roadside assistant calls over the holidays. What is that going to look like for you guys? Is that going to be pretty hectic, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's all hands on deck over any time you have these big holiday travel periods. But flat tires are one of the top roadside emergencies we will see this holiday season. At least historically, that's been the case. And just between December 20th and January 1st here in Texas, AAA will respond to about 40,000 roadside emergencies. And again, flat tires, a big reason for that is the cooler temperatures, of course. We're entering that colder period time of year. We also see a lot of dead batteries as well because of the cold weather, but really flat tires is something we see a lot of this time of year.
And now that we kind of know how tires are affected by that cold weather, what are some signs that your tires might not be ready for that winter travel?
Yeah, so you really want to watch for low tread depth, uneven wear, or just frequent
Mhm.
low pressure warnings. We advise drivers not to just go by the digital indicator in your car. AAA studies have shown that sometimes those can be inaccurate, but to use an old-fashioned tire gauge, check your tire pressure at least once a month, maybe more often during these colder months. But if your car handles differently also in a turn or you feel any vibration, those could also be signs that your tires need attention. And when it comes to the tread, we talked about low tread. You can actually take a quarter, turn it upside down, go in between the tread. If you can see the top of Washington's head when the quarter is upside down, you don't have enough tread, Tristan, and that
Mm.
can be dangerous.
I've never heard of that quarter trick. I should honestly go home and try that out on my tires as well. I need a couple of new front tires, but if
Yeah, yeah. We,
But-
we we used to say a penny, but
Mhm.
it's changed to a quarter in the last few years.
Oh, so they just added some more tread on there just to just to give it that little bit of extra wear and tear. Okay, I
That's
get you.
right.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go check that out when I get home just to make sure that I'm all up to speed. And if someone isn't sure how to check their tire pressure or tread, what can they do to make sure that gets done?
Yeah, one thing you can do if you're not sure, you don't know how to use a tire gauge, you could go by a place like Discount Tire. They actually will just check your air pressure and your tires, check the exterior of the tire and make sure everything looks right. And if not, of course, you go from there. But it's usually free to stop by like a Discount Tire and have them do it. A lot of Americans actually don't know how to check their tires properly. So if you're one of those, then there's an option for you as well.
I love that you brought up Discount Tire because just a few months ago, I actually went over there just to check my tire pressure because they looked a little low and did it completely free. They checked it out, they aired them up. So that's a great trick to have, especially over because I know in Tyler over here, there's one over on Broadway, and I'm sure in plenty of other areas of East Texas, there's Discount Tires near them as well. And then beyond tire checks, when should drivers visit a mechanic as the temperature drops just to check and make sure that the tires are good and that everything else is functioning well?
Yeah, so before a long road trip is always a good idea to have your tires checked, have your vehicle just overall checked out by a trusted mechanic. Just here in Texas, we're looking at like 9 million people that are traveling for the holidays. 90% of them will do so by car. So it's really important, for those that are taking a road trip, make sure that you visit that trusted mechanic. Have them check your tires, your battery. As I said, if it's over 3 years old, we do see a lot of dead batteries this time of year because of the colder weather, but the average life of a battery is about 3 years. Also, the other systems that can be affected by cold weather, that just helps prevent breakdowns and a roadside emergency. Look, nobody wants to deal with a roadside emergency
Mhm.
anytime, but especially during the holidays, right, while you're traveling to go see family.
Yeah, it's one of those things like we love AAA because they're so helpful, but we want to not call them as much as possible, especially around the holidays too, and kind of derail the plans. And
Sure, sure.
how does AAA help drivers with reliable service and repairs during the busy travel times? I'm sure it's a lot for you all to juggle. So how do you guys handle that and help people whenever they need it?
Yeah, so one thing we have is a free community program. It's called Approved Auto Repair. This is a program that's been around for about 50 years now here at AAA. And what it does is it connects drivers with vetted repair shops that have been thoroughly vetted by AAA. They have to meet really high standards for quality as well as customer service. So if you need to find a trusted mechanic, you're not sure if there's one in your neighborhood, you can go on to AAA.com and that free community service approved auto repair. Use that and it'll help you find a shop near you where you know you're going to get good service. If you are a AAA member, there's also some extra benefits that might help with savings as well.
All right, so we've heard about the tires, we've heard about, car batteries, and then also changing the oil and just other things like that to make sure that you are up to speed. And once again, if you don't know how to do any of those things, like Daniel said, you can go ahead and check out a trusted mechanic near you. And you can honestly check out AAA to see those vetted mechanics as well. Daniel, thank you so much for joining me on another edition of Travel Tuesday. I really appreciate your time.
Happy holidays. Thanks, Tristan.
Yeah, happy holidays. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for watching East Texas Today on KETK Plus. I'm your host, Tristan Van Beem, and I will see you all next time.